Oh, hey, welcome back. And we're welcoming Gavin Clarke to Stoppage Time with Coach Berman. Say
Woo!
hello. And
Hello.
Duke,
Thank you for having me.
I'm pretty certain Duke was in the middle of a set right there. Good. So, hey, Gavin, welcome to the show.
Thank
You
you.
have kind of one of the most unique relationships with St. Margaret's in general. And I think particularly in athletics, like, I don't know anybody that's been more persuasive and informative and like added value to our athletic programs in many ways. And I mean, from our sixth graders continuing on with the lunchtime football league, which is all student
Classic.
driven, still going. And I think they've created a couple more leagues in the high school. And then you've kind of been on the front end of what seems to be a sports analytics or sports performance departments that are kind of growing further and further. And you happen to be on today with a state college member, and I'd love to see which one of you guys
State.
thinks has the best programs, and we can talk about them back and forth. So,
It'll
so
be an interesting back and forth.
well, I hope so. So anyway, we've asked these questions of everybody that's come on, and guys, you can jump in anytime if you want. But like I asked both Duke and Matt previously, and Juliet about what it is they missed the most or wish they had known or could have had knowing going into this whole thing. So
So something that I been thinking about this a lot recently, especially with seeing how messy Duke's hair was. I wish I had my a personal barber here in my house right now, because Miami we have this nice thing where like football players can get like a pre-game haircut in the locker room and stuff like that. It's like a really nice thing. I'm like, I wish I could just like rent that barber and bring him here right now, because this mop's getting a little bit too hard right now, and not willing to go full shave either.
Um, but also, like, Gavin, I think it's kind of neat because, or I think you have probably an interesting perspective. You always have a mom that's an administrator. You can see what she's going through with the whole thing. You have a sister that's a senior,
I
and
know.
and you know, missing a lot of the elements that you got to enjoy before. So, like, how is that? How does that all look from your side of things?
I mean, it's definitely a weird thing just because I know that, like, kind of like my peak high school experience, and I bet Duke can, like, attest to this, was like your last, like, 4 or 5 weeks of senior year before, like, ISBs. That was, like, the time to be a senior and to be a St. Margaret student. So it's really kind of a bummer to see, like, what she's missing. But I think she's taking it in stride, and her friends are trying to do, like, driveway stuff, and they still had, like, a water balloon fight and stuff like that. So they're trying to make the best of it that they can, but it obviously, like, there's no way it can, like, equal the experience that other grades have had in the past, but we'll see.
Right? Maybe more memorable,
Yeah, exactly. They won't ever forget this.
right? What about you guys? You guys, how's Juliet doing right now with the whole thing? Because I think she's in sixth grade, right?
Yeah, she wish she should be at school. She wish it's a little sad seeing it. Like I feel pretty bad for her. So like she doesn't really get to hang out with her friends that much either. And like she expected this entire time to just hang out at school with her friends, doing really not much. And
Right.
like the water balloon fight, that kind of got to her. But
Right. And Matt, I know you are in that class also, so like you have some interesting insight as well. And you are doing an ISP now, so let's update us. What's going down?
Um, honestly, like I found my new normal, and this past week's been kind of weird just because I haven't been able to train. So like my daily rhythm's been kind of weird because usually I like my whole morning is just like I wake up, I eat, I lift, I eat, and then I eat again. And like now I just like I wake up and I eat, and then
Well, I got a question for the college guys then. Like, is this has to be closer to your college experience now than like say your high school experience, right? Like you're used to hanging out in your dorms and being on your own, right? At least a little bit with some strange people. Are you conditioned for this a little bit better than you say you would have been if you were in high school or middle school, like your brother Reese is?
100%.
Maybe.
I'm a homebody. I love this. I fall into a straight routine. Like
yeah.
I'm the most reliable routine guy you can get. If you wanted to assassinate me, like it would be the easiest thing to ever do.
You know exactly where you are at every hour of the day.
Nobody wants to assassinate you, Duke. Nobody.
Yeah, I would say maybe for me. I mean, it's just a different thing. Like, I think if I was like in the lower grades of high school, this would have been harder just because I wouldn't have had like, I don't know, like good connections necessarily with like St. Margaret's. I think senior year would have been tough, but now it's just like, I don't know. I'm used to like college and I'm used to like football practice and I'm used to like other things like that. Like there's so much more to college than just like hanging out in your dorm and stuff like that. And like there's really nothing here. Like I don't have any college friends here. And yeah, I have high school friends here, but I haven't like seen them at all.
Right.
So it's definitely like a weirder thing being here. And it's also just like I'm trying to like look forward to, and it's really disappointing to look forward to think like, okay, is summer ball gonna get like canceled too, which would really like suck. So it's like it's kind of like worrisome, but at the same time, I don't think it's gonna.
So you're excited after your freshman year,
Yeah.
gotten a taste of what it's like, and you're excited to drink from it more. So what do you hope to do now or say a year from now? Like what is it that you've hoped to have learned or are going to change? Have your goals changed? Uh-oh. Is that the horseshoe?
There we go. Oh, is that your picture too, dude?
Yeah, I
No.
took it from the
Yeah,
student section.
so this was the funniest thing about this Ohio State game was I like usually I'm either in the sideline or the press box for the games, but this game I had to get put in like the end zone to film end zone. And I got up to my end zone spot, and this was about, I don't know, what was it, like 30 minutes before the game. And all of a sudden I see like Duke Ballard down there. Not even like really like I didn't even remember he went to Ohio State. Like I knew he went to Ohio State, but it didn't like hit in my head like, oh, I should try to talk to Duke while I'm there. Like it didn't even like come together. All of a sudden I see him, he's like 10 rows in front of me. I'm like, oh my God. I literally gotta like try to yell at him, and all of a sudden he turns around, he's like, Coach Clarke. It was the funniest thing where he's taking this picture right now. I'm literally like a few rows behind him. The funniest thing, Duke, I took the exact same picture from where I can find it. Yeah, I took the exact same picture in the same location.
Oh,
The same thing, and I'm just a little bit behind him in the end zone, so that was super funny. But what are the coincidence that he ends up in the exact same section at a 100,000 seat stadium?
right.
But
Well, I got to talk to Gavin about that game for a little bit because it was like, coming from your perspective, tell us what that's like from your team's perspective, like from expectation, goals of playing a game like that, and outcome for the student body. Like, how does everyone feel about those games?
Was it? You guys were hanging with us for a quick second in the beginning, weren't you?
And that was it was probably one of the more exciting 5 minutes we had all season. Well, no, it was more like 10. It was 10 minutes real time, like 5 minutes game time. But like obviously you have very like low expectations going into that game, but at the same time, what that allows your team to do and what that allows your fan base to do is really like open up and be like, okay, we know the result that's going to happen. So any result that's not that same result is like it's an extreme like win, for instance, if you do that. So we were kind of going into that mindset of
nothing to lose.
Like get in there and get out while like trying to put on the best like recruiting show you can. And our coach, Chuck Martin, he's kind of like he's like a loudmouth, say whatever he wants kind of guy. So he had like a very memorable quote that was saying like right before the game, he said like, it's like going to recess and the other team gets to pick 60 men before you get to pick your first one. It was like his quote before the game, and some media kind of spun that into being like kind of a negative thing, but that's literally like what he just like spits it how it is. In our team, some of our players got like fired up by that in like a negative way where they were kind of mad at him. And then other players took that as more of like, I'm going to show you that you were like wrong and that we're going to come out and do this. So we came out, Duke probably remembers it. We came out 5-0. We got a safety on their first drive. Sacked Justin Fields in the end zone. We got a safety, and then we came down on the next drive and kicked a field goal. And we were up 5-0. And then it went like, and then it went like as typical. It was only 7-5 after the first quarter, so we were pretty happy, but we knew that it wasn't going to last. Kind of the thing that we say about Miami football is like our starters and Ohio State starters, you can hang, but once you get to like, you have to start putting in some substitutes in the second quarter and stuff like that. When we put in our substitutes and when they put in their substitutes, then all of a sudden it's like they're still putting in like top 10 athletes, and we're putting in
Master P got second string, dude.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wow. Yeah, I think that was the only deficit Ohio State had to that point of the year. It's the only time they trailed in a game.
Up until like Michigan, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It was the first time that you guys were losing at a game. Yeah, it was funny. and everyone was like turning around and laughing at me, not like in like a making fun of. They were laughing because they were like,
Those
oh,
shows.
like they were like, oh, like we'll see what happens. And I was just like, yeah, this isn't gonna hold, but we'll enjoy it while we can.
You see us when we take off our shoes and do our chant?
Yeah, that was. Yeah, you guys have a good.
The entire stadium rings in an OHIO chant. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
You can think of the best action film.
I forget the name of it because I saw it like at the very beginning of this whole thing, but I was like, oh, I remember
Outbreak?
this movie.
With Morgan Freeman?
Was it? Yes,
Kevin
it was.
Spacey?
Yes.
Yes. Look at Duke from the darkness.
Good movie.
How about your favorite comedy?
Favorite comedy right now? Right now or just in general?
In general.
In general. I like a good Dave Chappelle, like Netflix special stuff. That's just like a classic.
Those are excellent, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
And then the last one, favorite horror film, which might be
Favorite
that
horror film.
the pandemic one you just talked about, for all I know.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's like stereotypical, like horror. I don't know. I really liked. See, I haven't watched a horror film in years, but I think it would either be. Have you ever seen The Grudge?
The Grudge?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that I like that one enough. I haven't seen like what you would typically say like a stellar horror movie. I kind of just like I've seen them with friends as like let's watch a horror movie, not let's watch a good horror movie. So that was probably the best one of the ones that I've watched. But